Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking at a book from OUP, the Oxford University Press. It's this book here, maroon cover. It's actually Blackstone's Employment Law Practice for 2010. It's a new edition. I reviewed the earlier edition a year or so back. This current edition is edited by Gavin, Mansfield, John Bowers, Queen's Counsel, Damian Brown, Simon Forshaw, Anthony Korn and Julia Palca. Now, the title we've given it is Employment Law in One Authoritative Volume. Bit of a sort of bland title, if you like, but that's what it is. It's actually the statement of law in one volume, so you haven't got to go to loose leaf works or anything else. So for 2010, here is the whole field of employment law compressed, as it were, into one authoritative and useful Blackstone title with a splendid maroon cover, which I mentioned, or is it burgundy? Never can tell. You decide, because as we said about the colour of last year's edition, we really leave it to you to decide what colour you think it is, because it's the quality of the book which is actually what counts. But of course it remains the same in terms of what you're looking at, and it's an updated work. But if you're involved, of course, in employment law in any capacity, whether you're an academic, a learner, a practitioner, trades union official, employee, employer, you'll find this an invaluable work in our view as a work of reference, and it's just the ticket with all it contains about the subject splendidly updated for the year 2010. And as I've indicated, the Blackstone concept has always been to make this more readable than perhaps some of the heavier stuff around. Commenting on the first edition, Sir Michael Burton, President of the EAT and Chairman of the Central Arbitration Committee, says that it succeeds in giving an excellent view, both panoramic and detailed, of all that needs to be known to bring or defend an employment issue before the courts or tribunals. He goes on to say, we judges will feel the more comfortable as we see the tome on the desk in front of the advocate or litigant in person appearing before us. That means at least it's got that badge of approval. You could not have or even imagine a more cogent summary, in our view, as set out here, with a convincing argument for the efficacy of the tome in question for 2010. It provides complete coverage of practice and procedure in the Employment Tribunal, the EAT and the Central Arbitration Committee. It also covers employment issues in the High Court and the Court of Appeal, and is fully up to date, as I've indicated, with developments in law and procedure. Key areas of substantial law are covered, notably summaries, and this is a great positive factor for us. Summaries of all current leading cases, plus specialist coverage of issues that typically come up at tribunals. Again, useful to have that, because tribunal is a bit of a specialist area, certainly in my view. Let's give examples. It gives the calculation of compensation and guidelines for determining damages in discrimination cases, plus advice on drafting compromise agreements, group litigation and consent orders, i.e. Tomlin orders and so forth. So of immediate interest to all is what this book is, with its expanded coverage of employment law and procedure in the civil courts, which we believe is a great asset to the work. There's information on practice and procedure in Scotland as well from Brian Napier, Queen's Counsel, from the Faculty of Advocates, in case you go north of the border. So in all, this second edition of Blackstone offers you the pooled knowledge, experience and practical insights of an experienced and knowledgeable team of practitioners who have, in their own words, attempted to cover the law up to the 5th of January 2010. And they've incorporated changes brought about by the Employment Act 2008, and it remains, in our view, the best up-to-date reference source for all employment law in one volume. And to ensure that the book continues to provide an up-to-date reference source, it will be published annually, we're told, and is a welcome addition to the employment law library of any firm or chambers for its outstanding coverage in this specialist area. It's certainly one that I will go to when I have my next case. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.